What is going on, everybody? It's the France, and we're here for Monday Night Raw episode whatever for June 3rd, 2019. This show, I swear, how can it continue to get worse? And on top of that, this show actually got cut off by the USA Network. About 4, 5, 6, I think it was like 6, 7 months ago, WWE was mandated by USA Network that they were not allowed an overrun anymore. I believe that was in August. And since then, Monday Night Raw ends at 11 o'clock Eastern Central Time every single week. The night show promoted The Undertaker returning. And I even posted on Twitter, The Undertaker's going to come out because there was like 5 minutes left when he came back from commercial. He's going to come out to the ring, spend most of the time, come down and say, Goldberg at Super Showdown, you will rest in peace. Mic drop, show ends. No, that's not what they did. They decided to have him go out there and say, Goldberg, you come to Super Showdown, and have this long-ass fucking promo that obviously got cut off. Obviously. Because I'm sitting here and I'm waiting for him to say, or you will rest in peace, and it's just like, and they have Queen of the South being advertised, so I'm like, wow, something didn't go right there. Awful end to an awful show, which was supposed to be Brock Lesnar cashing in his Money in the Bank contract. Instead, he brutalizes so much, and this makes no sense. Halfway through the show, Brock Lesnar brutalizes Seth Rollins so badly, and Paul Heyman's right there with the briefcase, and John Cone's there to count the pinfall when he cashes in, that why Brock Lesnar says, I'm going to cash in on Friday instead of tonight, made absolutely no sense. Seth Rollins was so brutal that WWE had him put on a stretcher, put in an ambulance, and sent to a local medical facility or a hospital. I like the attention to detail, though, during the backstage portion that they actually had Becky go with him. They could have just been like, no, she probably already left, or make it look like she left already, but no. They actually played up to the fact that they are together, they are a couple, and she was there when they loaded him into the ambulance, and she went with him. I'm pretty sure that was going to be a legit visit to the hospital, because he got brutalized, chair shot after chair shot after chair shot. He's cut open, like the back of his neck. You saw the back of his neck and the top of his back. You saw splotches of blood coming out. And I'm like, holy shit, like, he got brutalized. All Brock Lesnar had to do for this cash-in, come in, kick him in the balls, which he did, F5, cashing in, 1, 2, 3, you're the Universal Champion going into Super Showdown to face Baron Corbin. And why would WWE care if Baron Corbin versus Brock Lesnar happened at Super Showdown? Because half the WWE universe in the United States or around the world is not going to care about this show and that. So now, apparently, Brock Lesnar is going to cash in on Friday. Baron Corbin is going to, and as far as I get it, they're going to have Baron Corbin versus Seth Rollins. And then after that match, whoever's Universal Champion, of course that's going to be Seth Rollins, is going to be cashed in on by Brock Lesnar. I don't foresee them. This is a glorified house show. It's to get Brock Lesnar on. I don't see Brock Lesnar winning the Universal Championship at Super Showdown. We've had 2 of these, and we've only had one title that actually got a new champion, because the title was vacated, and that was the Raw Tag Team Championships last year, when the Bar, who was SmackDown superstars at the time, took on the leader of Royals, Bray Wyatt, and Matt Hardy. This show went from 8 o'clock to 11 p.m., a little over 11:01 p.m. And out of this entire show, the only thing that was great tonight was the Firefly Funhouse. Again, and the fact that Bray Wyatt is carrying these shows each and every week. They had a new guest character with the Husky Harris ripoff, the callback to the Husky Harris gimmick, with a pig who was sitting there, looked like he was in a thong, eating a thing of chocolate. Bray Wyatt not wearing his usual sweaters, with a shirt on and a headband on, I think it was, talking about he's going to talk about exercise. All of a sudden, the door opens and a puppet comes out that is strikingly resemblance to Vince McMahon with devil horns. I don't know anybody alive who didn't laugh at that and was like, that is got to be the greatest, most perfect depiction of anybody ever. Vince McMahon with devil horns. That was just like, holy shit, that's funny. That's because Vince McMahon is the devil to the wrestling community. He is the devil. And they just like pretty much played into it, and I thought it was fucking hilarious. We had the rubber match of Ricochet and Cesaro, which was a pretty decent match. But just because, here's where WWE has this problem. You have your 50-50 booking, and then you gotta have another match the very next week. Space it out, man. This is why we hate it. This is why Shinsuke Nakamura versus AJ Styles got stale. Is because it was every single month, every single pay-per-view, they had a match for the WWE Championship. Why Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles was not as good as it could have been? Because they had a match every single pay-per-view and like a couple times in between. Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles was not as bad because they had 2 matches and that was it. And then they had Super Showdown with Styles faced Samoa Joe. Crown Jewel, when he faced Samoa Joe again, and then at the TLC, and in between that, Daniel Bryan championship and took Brock Lesnar to the limit. But they gotta stop, like, oh, well, we 50-50 booked these guys, let's have another one just to get us through another week. It's laziness. And instead of giving us Cedric Alexander versus Ricochet, which I would love that match. Cedric Alexander is relegated to the 24/7 championship, which we were so close to not seeing that on this show tonight. So close. They had a segment that they showed from yesterday where Carmella and R-Truth were, for whatever reason, on a golf course. Jinder Mahal runs over, attacks him in his wrestling gear. I don't know. R-Truth is sitting there just lounging around. Of course, he doesn't wear traditional wrestling gear, but he looks more subtle than Jinder Mahal. Do you realize that there were people actually on this golf course, which I'm probably sure they closed, they bought time to have this portion of the golf course closed to tape the segment. But if anybody who's not a wrestling fan saw a guy in pretty much their underwear and boots running after another guy, would pretty much think this guy needs some help, some medical help. Keep the 24/7 championship on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, Mixer, MySpace, if that thing's still running, any of the social media platforms you can find. Keep it off main TV television. It ruins the show. It brings the shows down. One thing I did see somebody actually mention how the ban, the 24/7 rule, is already antiquated as soon as Roman Reigns came out there, because Roman has been on every single episode of Raw and SmackDown since this rule was initiated 5, 6, 7 weeks ago. It's ridiculous. Roman Reigns does not need to be on a show. And then there's another one which I actually liked on Twitter, where someone took a can of aerosol spray and put a picture of Roman Reigns on it, and it called it like fan repellent, and I just sat there and laughed. That was hilarious because quite honestly, the ratings are down. Raw is not going to rebound from last week. You had Brock Lesnar tease the cash in halfway through the show. They want to try and get this third hour up, and that third hour was absolute trash. There was a funny segment. We had Randy Orton and Triple H with a face-to-face. By the way, the wildcard rule was broken again because you had Roman Reigns, Lars Sullivan, who took it to the Lucha House Party. You had Carmella, R-Truth, and Randy Orton. That's 5. It was 4. Now it's 5. Raw has been pretty good with the wildcard rule, only having 4 come over from SmackDown. Then SmackDown usually has 5, 6, 7. So, yeah, there's that. The wildcard rule is already antiquated. The wildcard rule is already just ruined everything. Monday Night Raw sucks. SmackDown Live is getting worse. Man, 3 years ago, well, 2.5 years ago, when the brand split first happened, everything seemed better than it is. And then it just started to fall by the wayside. Raw went first, SmackDown after that, and they just continue to free fall where these shows are both going to suffer. Monday Night Raw next week, I'm going to tell you this right now. Monday Night Raw next week, Vince McMahon has got to hope and pray Golden State wins Game 3 and Game 4 to make it for them to be up 3-1 going into Monday night's game. Because Monday Night Raw next week is going to be up against Game 5 of the NBA Finals. If Toronto wins one game, wins Game 3 or Game 4, and they're going back to Toronto either up 3-1 or tied 2-2, Monday Night Raw is going to get crushed in the ratings. They're going to be crushed big time. Because if it's 2-2 going into the game 5, which will be back in Toronto, WWE has got a big problem. Because a lot more people are going to be interested to see if Toronto can win at home to make it 3-2 than they will Monday Night Raw. So WWE has got to get their thinking cap on, which I know is hard to do, and they need to figure out how to build new stars. I'm going to say this too. Everybody, because they were in Austin, Texas, anybody who goes to these events, Raw, SmackDown, pay-per-views, and they bring a nostalgia act out like The Undertaker, Goldberg tomorrow night, I'm going to say this now. If you're in that crowd chanting for this nostalgia act and making it sound like these guys are what we want to see, you are the fucking problem. You are the fucking reason Vince McMahon will not change. Because you accept mediocrity. You accept nostalgia. You don't want to see the young guys like a Ricochet, an Aleister Black, an Andrade Cien, a Finn Balor, a Mustafa Ali, a Cedric Alexander be built to be bigger stars. You want to see the Undertakers, the Rocks, the Stone Cold Steve Austins, the Goldbergs, the Batistas, the Triple H's wrestle in this ring. If you're out there cheering for Goldberg tomorrow, you're the fucking problem. And I don't want to hear anybody say, oh, the big stars, the nostalgia. It's always great to have that nostalgia feeling. No, enough of this. If you go to a Monday Night Raw, SmackDown Live, and if you have a podcast or a YouTube show or whatever, and you say, man, the show sucked, but it was great seeing The Undertaker, you're the fucking problem. You can't sit there and just complain that's like, oh, this show sucks, and then sit there and just can't, Undertaker, clap, clap, clap. Undertaker, clap, clap, clap. Enough. Enough is a fucking enough. This show is not going to get any better because Vince McMahon's like, oh, listen to the crowd. They're going mad for The Undertaker. They want to see The Undertaker. I can bring these guys out anytime. Forget the young guys. Forget a Ricochet. Forget an Aleister Black. If I bring out The Undertaker, I bring out Goldberg. The crowd's gonna fucking love it. I'm a genius. Yes. No. Enough of this. Enough. It's time to start focusing on the Seth Rollins, the Ricochets, the Aleister Blacks, the Andrade Cien, the Cedric Alexanders, the Buddy Murphys, who hasn't even had a fucking match on SmackDown Live since the Superstar shakeup. Enough of nostalgia and build to new stars who will eventually use for nostalgia 10 years from now. But still, this is ridiculous. How can anyone expect to get over when fans are sitting in the stands cheering for an Undertaker and not giving two shits about a Cedric Alexander, or the War Viking Raiders who haven't been seen in a month? The Viking Raiders have not been seen since a week before they went back down, before the episode on NXT aired where they gave up the NXT Tag Team titles. That's ridiculous. But it's the wild card rule. We have to make room for Roman. We have to make room for Drew McIntyre on both shows. We have to make room for Randy Orton on both shows. We have to make room for Charlotte Flair too. Oh, that's right, Charlotte's on this show too. So that's 6. That's 6. I forgot about Charlotte because her match with Lacey Evans was god fucking awful. Just saying. This show was just terrible. As soon as Shane McMahon's music hit at the beginning of the show, I'm like, I checked out. I'll watch this show because I'm going to give my thoughts and opinion on YouTube because I love doing this. But as somebody who was hyped and excited for the show, I am checked out. Until the Firefly Funhouse came on, I didn't give two shits about the rest of this show. The Firefly Funhouse is the only thing right now. And Vince, when he starts feeling it's like, they're cheering for Bray Wyatt. We gotta kill it. It's not my idea, it's his idea, damn it. I can't let anybody succeed if it's not my idea. That's Vince McMahon for you. If it's not his idea, he'll kill it eventually. And the Firefly Funhouse is not his idea. Cole hates Brock Lesnar cashing into his money in the contract of the WWE Champion Seth Rollins. We see Charlie Caruso outside waiting for Lesnar. I don't know what she actually was. They showed the parking lot out back, but I didn't see Charlie anywhere. Out comes Shane Roman, who waits in the ring, who comes into the ring, but out comes Shane McMahon, and I'm like, I'm out. I'm sitting here and just watch what I can, but I'm not happy about any of this. Shane stops on the stage and asks Mike Roman to give him the best in the world introduction, which he did all right. Shane says he can't wait to shut Roman up on Friday. Shane says he's not just called the best in the world, he is the best when he gets in the ring. Shane goes on about how he gets better with age and how he will beat Reigns from the corner to corner, ending him with a coast to coast and making him tap out for the first time. Gee, a superstar in WWE who hasn't tapped out in his career ever? Where have we heard that before? Shane says actually that won't satisfy him because he will keep the triangle applied after the referee orders him to break it because he makes his own rules. Reigns tells him to shut up and dares him to try and make him tap out. Reigns says he will pick Shane's little spoiled ass up and drive him into the mat. Reigns goes on and brings up Shane relying on Drew McIntyre and reveals he will face Drew at WWE Stomping Grounds. So, after the shit show that happens this Friday, 2 weeks from Sunday, we have to see Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre again. That match at WrestleMania bored me to fucking tears almost. I was so bored. I was looking down at my fucking phone the night more than paying attention to that match because that match was so goddamn boring. Those guys could not put on a good show, a good match, and it's not Drew's fault. Drew was a hell of a fucking wrestler, a hell of a fucking sports entertainer if you want to call him that. He goes in there with Roman Reigns. He has to do the same thing he did at WrestleMania. Do his best to get Roman to look as good as he can and then lose to Roman Reigns with one spear. Drew comes out and says Shane will beat Roman on Friday and he will destroy Reigns at Stomping Ground. Drew says, I have an idea. Whispers something into Shane's ear and says he doesn't need partners today because he and Shane will take out Reigns right now. They head to the revival from behind attack Reigns. The Usos, Jimmy and Jay, run out to make the save, clearing the ring. Reigns and Usos stand tall in the middle of the ring as the heels regroup at ringside. And then we have the match that was advertised originally said on the WWE Twitter page, were like the Bloodline, Usos, and Roman Reigns take on Drew McIntyre and the Revival. But the advertising picture showed the Bloodline, the Revival, and Baron Corbin. And people poke fun at that. Even the Usos poked fun at that because Sheriff Schreiber asked them earlier in the day about what they're going to do tonight against these guys, and they were making fun of the fact that there was a mix-up on Twitter, which, there you go. This match was nothing special because Dawson shoved Jimmy into the barrier and then hit a shadow machine on the floor. Drew McIntyre goes back in and hit levels Jay with a Claymore for the 1-2-3. So, Drew McIntyre and the Revival win. After the match, Shane hits the ring to stand with Drew and the Revival while Reigns and Jay are down on the mat. Jimmy is still down on the outside. Shane talks trash in Reigns' face. Barks orders to the heels to attack. The Revival hit Reigns with a shadow machine. Shane talks some more trash. Shane holds Reigns up and Drew follows that with a Claymore as fans boo. Shane gets back down on Reigns in Reigns' face as Dash mocks him. The Revival and Drew hold Reigns up while Shane backs into the corner, then hits a spear. Yes, that's right. Roman Reigns got hit with his own move. Whoop-de-doo. Shane mocks Reigns in the middle of the ring. As the boos continue, Shane stands tall with the Revival and Drew as his music hits. Here's the thing. The match was pointless. The beatdown was pointless. When we get the Super Showdown here's the thing. This match did nothing for anybody. The beatdown did nothing because we all know Roman's going to win. The only reason Miz lost to Shane twice and was to look like a fucking idiot is so Roman Reigns looks like he's beating somebody important. Hey, he beat the Miz twice, so him losing to Reigns is going to look big. This is coming from the mind of a 72-year-old piece of shit. Yes, Vince McMahon is a piece of shit, and Jon Moxley showed that and exposed that on Wednesday last week. By the way, Dustin Rhodes is going to be on Talk of Jericho this coming Wednesday, so I can't wait to hear what he has to say. Will it be as big as Jon Moxley? I doubt it, but going to be worth a listen, and we'll probably have a lot on it on Unscripted this week. By the way, thank you to everybody and anybody who checked out my Jon Moxley portion of Unscripted, which happened on yesterday. Make sure to go check that out, as well as part 1. Go over everything in the WWE, including WWE having AEW's name dropped last week because they wanted to be edgy. But this is not going to matter. They're going to Super Showdown in Saudi Arabia, which is half the time feels like it's not even canon. Hell, the only thing surviving from the Crown Jewel event is the Best in the World trophy. Everything else didn't even matter. So when Shane McMahon loses to Roman Reigns on Friday, nobody's going to care. It's not going to benefit anybody. Roman beating a McMahon who is in his 40s or 50s doesn't do anything. Him beating Shane on Friday does nothing for Roman. Shane beating Roman does nothing. That would hurt Roman more than it is losing to Roman. This is going to do nothing. It does nothing. Still to come, The Undertaker returns to Raw. Also, Brock Lesnar cashes on the title shot, and Seth Rollins appears on Miz TV. And everyone waits for Lesnar to return. Still to come, the Firefly Funhouse thing with Bray Wyatt. Back from the break, we see former cyclist Lance Armstrong, which I don't know why they wanted to show him, because didn't Lance Armstrong get busted with PEDs and had to give up all of his French Open championships because of it? And actor Matthew McConaughey sitting at ringside with friends and kids. We go to the ring, and out comes The Miz for another must-see edition of Miz TV. Miz takes the microphone and gives a nod to McConaughey with the all right line, which I'm sure Matthew McConaughey was in talk with WWE's lawyers to sue them for using that, because I'm pretty sure he has that copyrighted by now. Before giving himself an A-list introduction, Miz says tonight isn't about him, it's about Brock Lesnar cashing in his Money in the Bank contract. And out comes Seth Rollins after Miz introduces him. Which, Miz, it's not about you, because even as a babyface, you always make the show about you. Miz welcomes Rollins to Austin and brings up Friday's title defense against Baron Corbin at Super Showdown. Miz says that could change because Lesnar is cashing in tonight, supposedly. Miz asks what's going through Rollins' mind. Rollins brings up the fact that Paul Heyman might be lying about Lesnar cashing in tonight. He says he is prepared, but he will believe it when he sees it. Miz believes Rollins isn't saying something. Rollins admits he will be relieved if Lesnar cashes in. He goes on and says he will be defending against the number one contender on Friday, whether we like Corbin or not. He won the Fatal 4-Way last week, which was a fucking sham, because halfway through the match, they decided we're not going to have an elimination match. We're going to just have a Fatal 4-Way with the winner picking up the victory with one pin. Kind of stupid. He talks about how no one likes Corbin, but he did earn the title shot, and if Rollins is going to be the fighting champion he promised to be, he's going to focus on Corbin, burn it down chance, and the camera cuts backstage, and we see a black SUV pull up. Heyman hops out. First, Lesnar gets out of the back. Heyman says, let's go cash it in. Lesnar shoves the briefcase in his gut. Lesnar walks off, and Heyman follows as Rollins looks on from the ring. Lesnar stops walking towards, and he gets right before gorilla position, and just sits there for about 2-3 minutes, it feels like, and he heads off to a locker room because he's not going to wrestle or fight in his t-shirt and sweatpants. Fans chant burn it down, looks on, and music starts up, and we go to commercial break and the Miz TV. So there you go. The thread of the night was, when is Brock Lesnar going to cash in? It's not going to be on a healthy, able Seth Rollins. Are you kidding me? He's going to get the most he can out of this, and he's going to beat Seth Rollins up as fast as he can. Back from break, and out comes the Lucha House Party for, quote, supposedly a tag team match against people we will see. Cole plugs the 3-on-1 handicap match against Lars Sullivan at Super Showdown on Friday. They wait for their opponents, but out comes Lars Sullivan instead. It's almost like they didn't even have opponents lined up for the Lucha House Party. They're just throwing them out there to fight with Lars Sullivan. Why? It's been months. They had Lars Sullivan advertised back at TLC, right after Survivor Series, really. He has been hyped up since Survivor Series. He went away for a little bit because of anxiety, because of his past posts, and being that could probably kill his career. He comes back, and all he's done is beat the hell out of people, and his first match is going to be on a show where nobody's going to give a flying fuck. They're not coming to see you. They're not coming to see the Lucha House Party. The Saudi government is coming to see The Undertaker, coming to see Triple H, Randy Orton, Goldberg. You're just there. You beat up 3 guys and have the Rat syndrome. Lars hits the ring, and they attack, but Lars fights them off. Lars destroys and manhandles each opponent one by one. Kalisto makes the save and then takes turn with the drop kicks to stun Lars. A triple drop kick sends Lars out of the ring, but he's still standing. Fans chant Lucha as the Luchadors get hyped in the ring. Lars is fuming, and he's just like, ah! He's just screaming, and it's like, go in there, you can fight them still. But he just stands there, and we cut to the back. So, what was that for? That was pointless. Another pointless segment on a very pointless show. Stomping Grounds is in 2 weeks. Next Monday is going to be 2 weeks from Stomping Ground. And the week after that is the Go Home show. So this entire thing, this show just sucks. Man, this show absolutely sucks. Speaking of what sucks, we see the women's tag team turn as the idiots, mocking Nikki Cross backstage. They also take shots at Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch, calling her they start doing they go like dog noises. I'm like, why? Alexa Bliss appears and stands at the cross and says, shouldn't you be going to eat a blooming onion somewhere? And I'm like, that's a little racist, isn't it? A little countryist or something? I mean, you're supposed to be, I guess, a babyface now, but isn't that just a little weird that she would even Peyton Royce says she's off to prepare for a match as she will face Cross later, and that will be iconic. Bliss says, that just happened. Offers to get a coffee for Cross. Cross seems surprised. Bliss knows how close Cross has been getting with Becky as of late, and she knows how everyone hates her around here. Cross says, I don't care what you've done in your past. You've been nice to me since before anyone realized I was even here. And says they are friends. Bliss puts herself in Nikki's corner for her match against Peyton Royce later, and they walk off together. So, I don't know what this is all about, but is this going to lead to an Alexa Bliss heel turn, or what? Because it just doesn't sit right with me. And what is with Nikki Cross? It's the tale of two Nikkis. In the back, she's cool, calm, collected, nothing wrong. Her music hits and she's back to crazy Nikki, the Twisted Sister Nikki that we knew from NXT. I'm intrigued by it and I'm not mad about it, but I want to see where this goes, and I would love to see Becky Lynch versus Nikki Cross for the Raw Women's Championship at a later date. But since Nikki Cross nor Becky Lynch neither one of them have blonde hair, that match is unlikely to happen because WWE has to have at least one blonde in each and every one of the women's title matches outside of the Naomi and Asuka match and the Asuka and Becky Lynch match. Every single women's championship match on the main roster for at least the last 2, 3, maybe 4 years has had at least one blonde wrestler. Think about that. Still to come, mysterio drops the United States title. Also, The Undertaker returns, plus Braun Strowman battles Bobby Lashley in not just any type of match, an arm wrestling match. Because I turn on USA Network from 9 to 11 to watch an arm wrestling match. I didn't enjoy it back in the Ruthless Aggression era. I'm not enjoying them now. Arm wrestling matches, I believe they have a a national World Cup or whatever style thing for arm wrestling. Leave that there. It does not belong in WWE or any professional wrestling. It's fucking stupid. We go to the ring and out comes Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch. She hits the ropes to raise the title. So we see how Lacey Evans helped Charlotte take the SmackDown Women's title from Lynch at Money in the Bank a few weeks back, ending her reign as Becky Two Belts. Lynch stands tall with the title as we go to commercial break. I swear, it felt like they were a commercial for like 6 or 7 minutes. I honestly would love to know, when Becky Lynch is in the ring, holding that title up, did she just sit there and just pose, and her music plays until the commercial ends? What the hell does Becky Lynch actually do when she's out there? Now, I know a heel sometimes. I know Chris Jericho's talked about this a couple times. Like, I think it was when he was doing his The Man of 1,001 Holds. He would sit there and name some off. When the thing went to commercial break, he would sit there and talk about wherever they're at, like the Leaf sucks, come back on, and they would be healing. He would heal it up off screen and then continue it on, so the bruise would be around. But Becky's a babyface. She wouldn't do that. Bathroom break, and Lynch is in the ring with a mic. She says she's ready to make some changes. She talks about how busy the past few months have been, including her WrestleMania 35 main event win. You deserve a chance. Break out. Lynch goes on about all her dreams coming true and says she's never been more content in her entire life, but that's when it hit her. Contentment is the worst thing that could happen to a fighter like her because they get hurt, passed over, or beaten. Becky says that won't be her because when Lacey helped Flair take the title at Money in the Bank, it woke something in her that needed waking. Becky says when she's pissed off, and she is very pissed off, there's not a woman in this business that can keep her down. Becky says if you wronged her in any way, she will find a way to get Evans, and she will break her back trying. Break her hands fighting and keep going until she can't. And out comes Lacey Evans. And then the ratings continue to fall because Lacey Evans can't cut a promo to save her fucking life. Evans says Becky is just like a dog chasing a car, and just like a dog, she wouldn't know what to do with it if she caught it. Evans says she did Becky and all of the WWE Universe a favor with the title change at Money in the Bank because she's not the one who should be representing WWE in the women's division. Lynch mocks Lacey, and she did her best lady, like Southern Belle accent. She did better than Lacey Evans. She's not the one who should be, says she does not have blonde hair, but Becky shouldn't confuse her with Charlotte Flair. Evans goes on and enters the ring. Fans give her the what treatment. Evans says she will soon make her Becky no belts because she refuses to let Lynch represent her division. Evans continues on until out comes Charlotte Flair for whatever reason. I know Lacey attacked Charlotte last week, and then Charlotte took her out. But Charlotte, you have nothing to gain from this entire thing. You're on SmackDown. You should be focusing on Bayley and the SmackDown Live Women's Championship. This feud with you and Becky is over. You beat Becky because of Lacey Evans. You lost that title because Bayley outsmarted you. You should be focusing on that, not on Becky Lynch. The Becky Charlotte shit needs to stop. Flair tells Becky to stop making excuses for the loss. She brags about becoming the 9-time women's champion with the win, which, by the way, she will be probably a 12-time champion by the end of the year. Vince McMahon really wants her to be that 17-time women's champion. Here's the problem, Vince. If you're just giving her championship reigns to get her number, they mean jack shit. Outside of probably her NXT Women's Championship title run, none of her title reigns have been memorable at all. Outside of her first title reign on the main roster, which was the Divas into the Raw Women's Championship, which it is now today, her title reigns aren't very long, and in 2016, she lost it to Sasha, beat Sasha, lost it to Sasha again, beat Sasha, lost it to Sasha again, I believe, and then beat Sasha, and then held it till Fastlane, lost it to Bayley, and another championship till the end of 2017. So, yeah, her title mean jack shit if she's only hot-shotting him with somebody else. But, she does a rule to the crowd. Lynch taunts Flair for having the title any longer. Evan tells Flair to stop embarrassing herself and ask her why she's here, calling her daddy's girl needing attention. Flair asks them to open the ropes for her, but they're not interested. Flair says she struts like a peacock because she's more than halfway to breaking her dad's world title record. See, told you. And Evans has been here for a while, but all Flair has seen her do is make tea. Flair brags on laying Evans out last week, saying she didn't even need her wrestling gear to take her out. Evans says Flair has 9 championships, but she has 0 today. Evans says Flair is yesterday's news, but Evans is the new face of WWE. Evans tells Flair to run along back to SmackDown unless she wants to be educated with a woman's right. And Evans immediately attacks Flair and drops her with the rope into the ropes. The referee enters the ring, and we have a match. Charlotte Flair versus Lacey Evans. This was a shit show. Yeah, because what I want to see is a mediocre wrestler face an average at best wrestler in the ring, because Charlotte Flair, it has to be shown every single week. This match was not necessary. This match was not needed. Charlotte Flair has nothing to do with the Raw Women's Championship. She won the SmackDown title, lost it to Bayley, has no reason to be over here other than the fact that she was supposed to I guess, take on Lacey Evans. This was just stupid. Absolutely stupid. This match ended in a DQ as Lynch ends up decking Flair on the outside, and the referee calls for the bell. After the bell, Becky immediately enters the ring and drops Evan with a manhandle slam, which is a piss-poor version of the Rock Bottom. Lynch talks trash and taunts Evans as her music hits. She raises the title in the air and stands over Evans. Back from break, and the United States Champion Rey Mysterio is here to relinquish the title. He has his arm in a sling. We see how he won the title and suffered the separated shoulder back shoulder from Samoa Joe at Money in the Bank a few weeks back. Rey hits the ring and greets the crowd, says he's been a part of WWE for a very long time, minus about 3 years when you left in, I believe, 2014 and went on to the Indies, wrestled a great match against Ricochet, a great match against Will Ospreay for What Culture Pro Wrestling, faced Alberto El Patron in one of the more popular matches from What Culture Pro Wrestling when they were WCPW still. Went to Lucha Underground, wrestled for them for a bit, wrestled for New Japan a couple times before you came here. Rey says this is in his family's blood, and he's now sharing it with his son Dominic. He says his son is training for the business, and he's confident he will carve his own path. Rey goes on about setting the right example and being a man. Says he's due to his injury. He's here tonight to enter Samoa Joe. Joe mocks Rey and says, "Oh, did I ruin your moment? I heard champion, and I thought it was my time to it was my cue." Joe gets in the ring and says, "We shouldn't ruin it by telling people a lie." Joe says Rey isn't dropping the title because he's injured. He's dropping it because Rey never beat him. Joe goes on about the botched pin at Money in the Bank. Rey says he's not here to have a moment or try to be a fool to fool anybody. Rey says this is not the moment he wanted it to be. Says he's won titles his entire career through pain and injuries, and if he was man enough to do that, he's man enough to do what he came to do tonight, and tells Joe to give him a moment, and announces that due to his current shoulder injury, he's here to relinquish the U.S. title to Samoa Joe. Rey lays the title down in the middle of the ring as Joe stares him down. Rey says he isn't the last Joe has heard of him because he will be back. Rey goes to lead, but Joe attacks him and drops him with the coquina clutch. Joe finally breaks the hold, heads to the ramp with the title in the air as his music hits, and that is that. Samoa Joe was just handed back the championship, and quite honestly, right decision. Samoa Joe never lost the championship. The referee fucked up so badly. Now, if Samoa Joe would have been pinned and both shoulders were down, then Rey Mysterio would be winning the title, and we would be having a tournament. People need to get this out of their head. Don't ask for tournaments on the main roster. Look at the last time we had any type of tournament that really had anything. That was the United States Championship tournament last year going into the Royal Rumble, where the finals was supposed to be at the Royal Rumble, and instead they had the semifinal and the finals on the same night for the fucking hell of it. Don't sit there and try and say, oh, let's have a tournament. They would have figured something else out, but no. Samoa Joe getting this U.S. title back was how it should have been, because they should have just said, well, the referee fucked up so badly. Referee's decision is one thing, but this was one of those things where even if he wasn't injured, Samoa Joe should have been handed back the WWE United States Championship. So, I have no problem with it. Some people do. Yes, it could have been done a little bit better, probably. And honestly, I think Ricochet and Cesaro's match today should have been a number contenders match for Stomping Ground. The winner goes on to face Samoa Joe. Of course, that didn't happen. We see Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman's backstage waiting as Brock Lesnar is putting on his gloves. He has his shorts on. He's ready to fight later. Arm wrestling match, Braun Strowman versus Bobby Lashley. Braun Strowman wins. I don't give a shit. After the match, Strowman pushes Lashley away and poses as he hits the music hits. Strowman turns back around and Lashley blinding him with some chalk that they had, because when you do arm wrestling, you gotta use chalk to be able to keep your hands from slipping. Strowman swings wildly, but Lashley works him over and lands a big power slam and leaves Strowman laying, heading to the ramp to pose as his music starts up. Who the fuck cares? Again, why would I want to watch Monday Night Raw for a fucking arm wrestling match? You had these guys in a fatal four-way last week, with the winner going to face Seth Rollins at Super Showdown. And these two got so up in the moment, they beat the hell out of each other, going up into the crowd to let Baron Corbin win. I don't care. This is stupid. This is just one of those things. It's like, yeah, I watch Monday Night Raw to see this. I don't think you do either, but that's how that goes. The announcers talk about WWE's 24/7 title. We see Truth and how Truth and Carmella were golfing on Sunday. Jinder Mahal pinned him for the title, but Truth then won it back a few seconds later to become a 3-time champion. The camera cuts backstage now, and we see Carmella looking for Truth, and Drake Maverick appears with EC3 and a ref. Drake tells EC3 to help follow Carmella, and she will lead them to R-Truth. One thing out of that I like to see is the fact that you saw EC3 and Drake Maverick in the same vicinity. That honestly should be, if they would do shit right and let these guys be who they can be, EC3 and Drake Maverick should be a team. Like Drake Maverick, his manager, whatever, that would be great. Nikki Cross versus Peyton Royce. This match went about 3-4 minutes. This match came down to Peyton Royce was dominating Nikki Cross. Oh, what happens? A guy comes out with a tray with 2 coffees on it. Alexa Bliss gets her coffee from this guy. Peyton Royce and Billie Kay are so incensed that Alexa Bliss, who isn't even in the match, got coffee. Peyton Royce can verbally be heard saying, "Oh, are you kidding me? Are you joking me? You're getting coffee?" Like, they're getting all fucking pissed off about it. Peyton Royce kicks Alexa Bliss, knocking the coffee out of her hand. Billie Kay knocks Alexa Bliss into the coffee, so Alexa Bliss, with white pants on, by the way, is sitting in coffee. This is Vince McMahon booking 101 right here. This is his humor. This is what he thinks is funny. Oh, haha, look at her. She's got coffee on her ass. Ha ha ha. Which I kind of find it funny how it's Alexa Bliss, one of their favorites, getting embarrassed on WWE television. Is she in the doghouse? I have no idea. Nikki Cross hits the purge on Peyton Royce, who was distracted for the 1-2-3. Nikki Cross goes down to celebrate with Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss gets up. She looks pissed as fuck. Pissed as fuck. Comes into the ring, hits a beautiful drop kick onto Billie Kay, and then hits her with a DDT. Looking like she wants to beat the living piss out of both of them, saying, "How dare you fuck with me? How dare you mess with my coffee and shit?" Bliss, Cross tries to get Bliss to relax, and they celebrate together as Bliss music starts up because Nikki Cross won, and Bliss is like, "Oh, okay, good." So, yes, I think the concussion thing is not a problem, because if she still had concussion problems, she would not be allowed to do that drop kick or the DDT. But Alexa Bliss in 2019 actually took a bump. Yeah, she took a bump by doing a fucking drop kick and landing on her ass. And she also took another bump earlier when she got pushed onto the ground into coffee. Which I don't think she actually landed in the coffee because her pants were not wet. Just saying. But WWE actually had Alexa Bliss take a bump. I'm shocked. Absolutely shocked. Brock Lesnar, Braxton Breaker Universal Champion, is out to address Brock Lesnar. Lesnar uses hits, but he doesn't show up. Lesnar says he and everyone else are sick of Lesnar playing games. Says Lesnar used to be the most feared man on earth, but he's a shell of that now. Rollins says if Lesnar has any of the beast left in him, he dares Lesnar to come out and cash in that contract. The music hits, and out comes Baron Corbin instead. Ratings go down even further because nobody wants to see Baron Corbin. Corbin says Rollins is fired up tonight, but it's a shame because it's for the wrong person. Corbin says Rollins needs to worry about him, not Lesnar. Corbin says Rollins is living his dream in the ring, but he's the dream crusher now. Corbin goes on about taking the title, and Rollins says he will have to take it from his cold, dead hands. That's the only way. Corbin says he's okay with that. Corbin brags about retiring Kurt Angle and says he has no problem retiring Rollins' ass too. And Rollins attacks Baron Corbin. Corbin ends up hitting a end of days on Seth Rollins, and out comes Brock Lesnar, and this got fucking brutal fast. Lesnar comes out, low blows him, hits a chair shot. He had a chair with him, and another one is Heyman and the ref watch from ringside. Lesnar with another chair shot. Lesnar launches Rollins across the ring with a German suplex. Heyman points to the title shot, but Lesnar says not now as he delivers another chair shot. Lesnar takes the fight to the floor, and Rollins can barely stand. Lesnar then drops Rollins on the floor with an F5, brings him back in, and Rollins grabs a chair, but Lesnar stops him. Lesnar with more chair shots to keep Rollins down. He hit him so hard, I swear he started to bruise. Like it looked so brutal. Like he was like just going away with those chair shots mercilessly. Lesnar grabs Rollins and delivers another German suplex, annoying Heyman. Heyman asks Lesnar what is he doing. Lesnar says, Friday. So, you had Steph McMahon come on Twitter and, denounce and say this is wrong for Brock Lesnar. And then you had Paul Heyman come on Twitter and say we're going to cash in on Seth Rollins this Sunday. He grabs where Rollins is determined. Lesnar grabs the Universal title and laughs at Rollins while he's holding it over him. He leaves the title and heads up the ramp with Heyman. Lesnar turns back and comes in the ring, delivering a he grabs the briefcase from Paul Heyman, hits him on the back a couple times. More chair shots to keep Rollins while holding the beast box on his shoulder. Heyman and Lesnar exit back as Rollins tries to recover in the ring. Trainers, producers, and medics enter the ring to check on Rollins, and he go to replays as Rollins is rolled into a stretcher. We go to the commercial as Rollins is tended to. We see back in the break, and we see what Brock Lesnar just did to Seth Rollins. The camera cuts backstage to the officials rolling Rollins up into an ambulance with his girlfriend Becky Lynch by his side. Nice attention to detail there. They could have left Becky out if they wanted to, but it was nice to see that they actually had her go with him. Looking concerned at her boyfriend, Becky rides away with Rollins. Before we get anywhere else, why the fuck Brock Lesnar come out and pretty much almost kill this guy? Brock Lesnar could have brutally murdered Seth Rollins tonight. He beat him so badly and the referee, you had John Cone, I believe it was, or Cone, referee Cone, whatever the fuck his first name is, I can't remember. But they had a referee, Paul Heyman, the briefcase, outside the ring. Brock Lesnar beat him so fucking badly, that all he had to do was cash it in. Ref comes in, F5, 1, 2, 3, and Brock Lesnar is your new Universal Champion. But they didn't do that. Another bait and switch. I have a poll going on my Twitter account right now. The last time I looked at it, it was at 30 plus votes, because I'm not a big guy yet. But I had the good show, bad show, didn't watch, waiting for AEW in October. You want to know what the highest number was at this time? 52% waiting for AEW in October. You want to go vote on that? Go right ahead. It's at twitter.com/The France Club. Twitter.com/The France Club. It is the pinned tweet on my channel, on my Twitter account. This is shit like this that just makes no goddamn sense. This is like Braun Strowman last year when he turned heel an hour or two after cashing in his Money in the Bank briefcase at Hell in a Cell. Beat the living piss out of Roman Reigns with Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre. They beat him so badly that Braun Strowman still had the briefcase. He would have been Universal Champion. The sheer stupidity of the company. How could you fucking just have this guy come out there, brutally assault this guy? If this was not in the WWE, just outside in the real world, Brock Lesnar would be going to jail for attempted murder and like assault, big time assault. Because damn, he damn near killed. He could have killed Seth Rollins. How badly he beat him tonight, and he didn't think that. Oh well, I beat this guy up. I'm gonna cash in. If they do the excuse that Brock Lesnar doesn't wrestle on Monday nights, he's too good for Monday Night Raw. Why would you have to beat him down then? Why? This just made no sense. You're going to have Brock Lesnar beat this guy down only for him to not cash in? Does anyone else see what the problem is there? I wish I could just fill it in there, but it makes no sense. We cut to a special edition of Bray Wyatt's Firefly Funhouse, and he has some special talk to the kids today. Exercise! And they have a new puppet called Husky. Husky something the pig. Husky Hamlet, I think it was. Wyatt talks to the pig in the reference like it's his old gimmick Husky Harris, a puppet that looks like he's supposed to be evil. Vince McMahon interrupts. And I fucking laughed so fucking hard. I swear it was the funniest thing I think I've seen all night. Oh yeah, by the way, Bray Wyatt was wearing a fanny pack, so Mick Foley's probably smiling because we know Mick Foley wears a fanny pack still. He tells him to get their act together. Wyatt's still wearing the fanny pack, and Wyatt gym tank top ends up doing a wacky throwback style exercise video that gets a bit dark with his old other persona that was recently revealed. He reminds the kids that they were always like all they have to do is let him in to end the segment. If you haven't seen the Firefly Funhouse segment, you need to go see it. The Husky, I think it was Husky Hamlet, the pig, and the evil Vince McMahon. And he said, "Hold on, boss." So I thought that was hilarious, and it's a perfect depiction of Vince McMahon because Vince McMahon is the wrestling world's devil. He is. If a wrestler goes to hell, they see Vince McMahon what the devil wants. That's exactly what that is. Perfect depiction of Vince McMahon. We go backstage, see Triple H walking. We go to commercial, back for break. We see what happened to Roman and the Usos earlier tonight, which nobody cares. Out comes Triple H and says it's okay as the fans chant for NXT, but he's here to talk about Randy Orton. Out comes Randy Orton, number 6 on the wild card rule. There was, again, Roman Reigns, Charlotte Flair, Lars Sullivan, Carmella, R-Truth, and later on, and Randy Orton. Do not want to hear this bullshit. Oh, it's the wild card rule. R-Truth is in the wild card. Right? Doesn't matter because he's the 24/7 champion. Okay, then it's fine because Carmella is not 24/7 champion. It's his valet. Doesn't matter. No, it doesn't. Ridiculous. Orton hits the ring, and they stare each other down as fans chant RKO. Triple H says, "We know how these segments are done to build interest to the match. Each individual says, some things to each other to try and get under each other's skin, maybe some physicality. But we've been doing this, and I don't know what Triple H's math is, but he says we've been doing this against each other for 20 years. Don't get me wrong, Triple H, you guys have been doing this for a while, but if I'm correct, Randy Orton was going AWOL, possibly AWOL with the Marines in 1999, while you were being the best version of yourself in 1999. But there's nothing they had said to each other that haven't said to each other that they can say now, and he's coming to Jeddah to kick Orton's ass. Don't let the suit fool you. I'm coming to Jeddah to kick your ass. So Orton says that's fine, but he's not Batista. He goes on and says he will gladly defeat Triple H on Friday and put another notch on his belt as he is the Legend Killer. Fair enough, says Triple H, and talks about thoughts he said about rewatching these video packages for the matches they've had and everything they've done over the years. He gives Orton's prop for becoming one of the best ever and that diamond that he said he would become. Says lots of people have tried to put him down, but they're all gone, and he's still here. Triple H says Orton is not the one and turns to leave in the ring, but Orton asks him to hold on. Orton asks Triple H if he can promise him that on Friday before he steps in the ring, he retrieves his balls from Stephanie McMahon's purse. And the crowd gives the go, "Oh shit" chant, something like that. Fans pop and Triple H slash from the apron. He re-enters the ring and faces off with Orton and says, "This is a hell of an idea." He thinks he will do just that, but they're just so big and it's such a burden carrying them around. Maybe he can fit them in his carry-on bag or fit them in the overhead on the plane, and says it's really a burden, but Orton wouldn't do that because he's never had any. Orton just smiles, turns away, and laughs about that. Triple H says, "I'll see you in Jeddah," and just tosses the mic at Randy Orton as he walks away. So there you go. Caruso stops Baron Corbin backstage and comments on Seth Rollins. He mocks Rollins and says, "Brock Lesnar did him a favor." Corbin says Rollins doesn't stand a chance, and you're looking at the next, the new next WWE Universal Champion. I'm thinking, do you want that back, Baron? Because you butchered that so badly. The main event match of the night, Ricochet versus Cesaro. I will say a positive is that Ricochet and Cesaro in the main event. Yes, The Undertaker came after, but that was just that was nonsense. This was the main event of the show. Why these two are not feuding over the United States Championship? Give me some reason why. Ricochet did say earlier in the night that this rivalry between these two could be going on for the next decade, and I'm like, I doubt that, just simply because Cesaro has been here for so long. I don't know. I don't see that happening. Back from break, and out comes Cesaro for the rubber match between these two. Again, another great match between these two. There was a spot in this match where Ricochet tried to go for Cesaro went to go for a powerbomb. Ricochet jumped over him, tried to go for a sunset flip of sorts, and Cesaro caught that. And then they ended up doing a flip out of that, which was fucking amazing. Ended up getting into a Cesaro swing. These guys just showing off what they can do. These guys always do great things. The match comes down to Cesaro rocks Ricochet with another uppercut, but Ricochet still kicks at it too. Cesaro talks some trash while picking up Ricochet back up. Ricochet decks him. Ricochet fights from the apron and lands a stiff kick. Flies in with a big crossbody, but Cesaro rolls through for a close 2 count. They trade pin attempts and Ricochet ends up getting the pin off a counter. Out of nowhere, lays his back onto Cesaro's knees and gets the 1, 2, 3. Ricochet wins. After the match, Ricochet stands tall. Cesaro knocks him, looks tough. He suddenly attacks Ricochet and drops Ricochet from behind. So Cesaro goes under the ring, brings out a ladder. He's like, nah, puts that back. Brings out a table, and R-Truth is laying on this table, hiding under the ring the entire night, which is absolutely very fucking smart if you're a 24/7 champion. Just get to the arena, lay under the fucking ring the entire goddamn night. Nobody's gonna look under there, okay? Especially if you lay in the right part of the ring. And if someone tries to pull a table you're laying on, how about rolling off the table before it gets pulled out and you're exposed? How about that, Truth? A group of superstars run down the ramp and chase the Truth, and he is cornered, but they corner him, but Cedric Alexander leaps from the ring with a tope con hilo to the outside, knocking everybody down that not named R-Truth. Truth enters the ring, dances around, but Drake Maverick comes from behind and thinks he's finally caught Truth. Kamala comes over and drops him with a super kick, so they really can Drake Maverick look like a fucking idiot. Truth runs away through the crowd with a large group of superstars right behind him, and that's all we saw from the 24/7 championship this week. Good. Keep it off TV. Still to come, we had the commercials. We had The Undertaker back from commercial break, and the bell tolls inside the Frank Irwin Center as the fans pop and the lights go low as The Undertaker makes his entrance. Granted, there's about 4 minutes left in Monday Night Raw by this time. The Undertaker has 4 minutes to get to the ring, cut a promo, and the show go off the air before USA cuts them off. The lights go out, the Demon appears for a much larger pop than the Austin, Texas crowd. The announcer plugs Taker vs. WWE Hall of Famer Bill Goldberg for the first time ever at Friday's Super Showdown in Saudi Arabia as Taker makes his way to the ring. Fans chant Taker's name as his music stops. And again, if people want to see change, you gotta stop doing that. You're the problem. You're giving Vince McMahon the okay to continue to bring The Undertaker out. The Undertaker is 50 plus years old. This guy's got to fucking retire. There's nothing left for him to do. Goldberg versus The Undertaker would have been a great idea in 2004, 2005, 2004, 2003, 2019. It doesn't need to fucking happen. Taker decides, instead of saying what I said he should have did, decides, have you ever wondered what happens when you come face to face with death for the very first time? Does the sky grow dark? Does the ground begin to rip open at your feet? Or do you just choke at the stench of the souls that are already gone? Taker says Goldberg will get that answer to all those questions this Friday, and when Taker stands across the ring from him for the very first time. He doesn't want the smiling family man Goldberg as his wife and wife and kid beaming with joy. He wants the unstoppable, mythical icon version of Goldberg. Taker promises if Goldberg brings anything less, the first match will be Goldberg's last. Taker says he will open the gates of hell and unleash an inhumane level of brutality. Taker, you're 57 years old. That's not happening anymore. That Goldberg has never felt. He says that when the Reaper beckons, you'll answer his call. Taker says he will claim Goldberg's soul for all eternity. Taker says Goldberg is next. And the final round for Super Showdown ends with The Undertaker standing tall in the middle of the ring as USA Network cuts it off and ends our fucking misery on this miserable show. This show fucking sucked. And the fact that you had a 52-year-old, 50-whatever-year-old Undertaker come out to end the show and cut a promo longer than it needed to be. All he had to do was say, Goldberg at Super Showdown, you will rest in peace. Drop the mic, and that was that. I haven't come out with this fucking question of, have you ever... What do you do when you see death for the first time? Was unnecessary. Just too long of a promo, and I guarantee you that wasn't the end of the promo. I guarantee you got cut off early, and I'm sure it's going to be on their YouTube or Twitter page here. It's like, what happened when Raw went off the air? Undertaker was not done delivering his message to Goldberg. Terrible show. Firefly Funhouse, again, carries the show for as little much as it can. Bray Wyatt is the fucking man. He is the only thing on this show that fucking matters, that anyone's going to care about. WWE has 5 months, 4 months, something like that. Like 4.5 months to get this shit right. If they don't start soon, they're going to suffer. And nobody's going to watch Raw, and everyone's going to watch watch AEW on Wednesday nights, as it's supposedly that's where it's going. This show is terrible. I'm getting out of here. You guys have a good one. Find me on Twitter and Twitch and this channel right here at The Fronts Club. Hit that subscribe button. Comment down below. Like or dislike this video. Find me. Make sure to check out my Raw, SmackDown, NXT reviews from last week. Unscripted Part 1 and 2. NXT TakeOver 25 predictions and NXT TakeOver 25 review shows. All on the channel right now. I'll see you guys tomorrow for SmackDown Live. Until then, my name is The Fronts. Thank you guys for everything that you've watched. Make sure to give me some comments. I do want to hear what you guys think of these shows. And I will see you guys tomorrow again for SmackDown Live. And let's see what happens with Goldberg, who should have been on this show tonight and Undertaker on tomorrow night's show. Just my opinion. Until then, I'm out of here.